Welcome back, guys. It's
Morning.
my second attempt to do this intro.
Yeah, it's the mic.
Yeah, I never actually told you guys, but the reason the audio is so bad when we record like this is because I don't want to use this, because
It goes fuzzy.
you get rubbish audio or you get no audio, because this just corrupts for some reason. Not all the time, but occasionally it will just go buzz the whole
goes
video.
like that all the way, which is very annoying.
You don't know when it's happening.
We're talking quite loud. I'm loud anyway.
And there's a bit of wind as well, so hopefully but I don't know where my backup SD card is for the camera, which I've been using to avoid using this and the phone.
So
but I couldn't find that, and I had to try my best to even make enough storage to make this vlog.
Because you've got to do a lot of editing. A lot of editing over the next few days, haven't you, Josh, once we stop?
All SD cards and all hard drives are full. I managed to just about clear one for the GoPro. Yeah, we just made a 4-minute intro and we've got to do it again. Right, so we're off again, aren't we?
Yeah, off the next day, 47.5 miles yesterday.
Yeah.
So, which was,
frightening.
Yeah. It wasn't really, well, it was enjoyable, really. Once you got, once
it's
the...
exhilarating, you know, the fact you're like you're alive.
Yeah, exhilarating. I could say that. I said to do the wash any day compared to that, and I just spoke to Andy last night, and I think he'd be really bad.
Yeah.
He'd just
when we got to that upper load lock though, the guy said, "Oh, it's very quiet today because only experienced boaters do this on such a high tide." And I was like, "Well, damn, well, that's how bad it was." But we are experienced, of course, but not experienced doing that section.
No, and you know what happened on the River Severn last time I done it? I lost the tiller, if you watch us regularly. So I wasn't very happy about doing it.
But we just about made it. We had some luck because we'd made it to the last lock of here with half an hour to spare.
Yeah.
And got up through the last 2 locks onto the Droitwich Barge Canal, where there was a nice little mooring waiting for us, which was very lucky. I can't believe how well yesterday went. Over 47.5 miles.
And the trouble is, Josh, if we'd waited, he said, oh, you can wait till half 12:1, which is probably where the ebb, I suppose it's not so dangerous. He didn't say
we've
that.
Got to rod across the canal now, to beat the fishermen because he couldn't see us. Because they're in the reeds and they can't see you. But
yeah, the trouble is, if we'd done it later, I said to your dad last night, we wouldn't have made it to here.
no, you would have been fighting against that current.
Yeah, and we would have been too late for the docks, wouldn't we?
Exactly. I didn't even time all that, but the tide was perfect. Everything just worked out perfectly in the timings, didn't it? Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry I had to beep, I don't think you could see us, could you?
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, we could beep.
Some people can't. So yeah, we made it onto there, but the reason we're cruising today is because I checked the weather, and tonight into tomorrow morning is going to be 30 to 80 millimetres of rain. And
one night.
The weatherman said it could be up to a month's worth of rain, and it's all in the catchment of the River Severn. And then we have more after that next week. So yeah, I don't think we had much chance.
And if you don't know the Droitwich Canal, there is a river section on it.
When they had to restore it, they had to use the culvert for the river underneath the M5. Instead of having to build a new culvert or anything like a lock down and lock up, the easiest option, and thank God there was a culvert there for the river. But in times of heavy rain, that goes on yellow almost as quick as the Severn.
And it's a very, very, very low.
Yeah. So the higher the river, the lower the clearance.
Yeah.
So
last time we had about
it was like Froggle levels.
So obviously I think it's going to be a lot lower now because we're not.
Yeah, I think it was almost on yellow.
Yeah.
But the next day it went on red, that section, and the lock was locked.
Yeah, so you couldn't get through. They do lock it, so.
I didn't want to have to cruise, but we have to.
We'll have a rest for a few days, though, won't we?
8 or so, 9 miles and 14 knots. Okay, let's do it. So this is the map of the UK Canal Network. Everything in red is what we cruised before. Now we're here. Down at Hawford on the Droitwich Barge Canal. We'll be making our way along some lovely countryside and through about 6 locks before we make our way to Droitwich itself, where we then get water in the basin and its multiple swing bridges and onto the Droitwich Junction Canal, through multiple more locks there and on to the Worcester and Birmingham Canal, where we'll head back down to Worcester and more up at Oddingley, making a cruise about 10 miles and 13 locks. The Droitwich Canal can feel a bit lonely at times because there is really nowhere to moor up. Well, there's a couple of places, right at the start and at Droitwich itself, but there's virtually no armco whatsoever, and it's too shallow or narrow to moor up anywhere. Weirdly enough, at this lock, the lock landing is on the offside and there's some armco on the towpath side, so you could potentially moor up here, and there is parking in the lock too, but we've never actually done this. At this lock there's a very friendly woman who sometimes helps you with the lock. Sadly she wasn't here today, but she's got a couple of cats and she's lived here for a very long time. So long that she saw this canal and it's abandoned, as this is the latest fully restored canal, restored in the 2010s. Not many places to moor, but there's plenty of places to fish on this canal. To our surprise, we actually seen another boat come down, a Black Prince hire boat, which made us think that the flight would be on our side. When I got to the next lock, I was a bit surprised to see that it was full. I don't care how leaky the top gates are, they would not fill up this quick. So that meant only one thing: there was a boat ahead of us somehow. I don't know where they moored, but this was a bit annoying, a bit of a setback. I actually seen him just leave as I got to this lock. A single narrowboat on its own. A shame we didn't catch up with him before we did all the locks. Would have saved some water. There's a reason we prefer to take this canal over the Worcester and Birmingham. It's much, much more beautiful. And although there is nowhere to stop really, I just prefer it because it's in the countryside over the industrial estates of Worcester. I doubt someone with over a 3-foot draft would have got this far anyway.
I think whatever was
Well, we reached Droitwich Barge, a town that sits on a massive deposit of salt, where it gets its witch name from. Salt has been extracted here since ancient times, and even by the Romans. The brine contains 2.5 pounds per imperial gallon of salt, 10 times stronger than the Dead Sea. The brine typically rose from 3 natural places along the River Solwap in Vines Park, right in the centre of Droitwich. The brine reserves were about 200 feet deep, and in the 1700s boreholes are sunk and pumps were installed, and as a result of this, parts of the town succumbed to subsidence. The town's spa baths were opened in the 1830s, and it was the warmest water in the UK, outside of Bath. And then of course came the canals and the Industrial Revolution, and of course they wanted the canal through here and down to the Severn for easy and quick transport of plenty of brine, and James Brindley opened this canal in 1771 to Droitwich. Still plenty of hire boats going out onto the river. They won't be able to do that soon. Not with all this rain coming in.
We then reached the basin in Droitwich, where you can moor for a couple of days, and I believe it goes to winter moorings in the winter. And the last pontoon we're on now is a water point, so we filled up water, had lunch and headed off again. There is about 4 swing bridges in the middle of Droitwich, but only 3 of them work, and this one wasn't even working last time, so there's only 2, but annoyingly it's operating now. This is actually where most of the brine would have been extracted from, and there would have been wharfs here that would have collected all the brine and taken it down to the Severn or up to Birmingham. This was a bit of a shock. I've never actually been able to go through this floodlock on the same level as the river before. In every other time I've come through, and the videos I've watched, everyone's had to do the lock, but this time we could just sail right through it. Of course I had to do the swing bridge first though. We're now on a very short section of the River Solwap. The last river we'll be doing this year.
Right, we're not quite through Droitwich, but we just went through
Not
Droitwich.
quite safe yet,
Yeah.
guys.
We're on the river section now. River Solwap, is it? We're not.
And we didn't even have to do that
No.
lock back there. It was just okay
We
safe.
did see a Black Prince come down. There's what? Yeah, the rest of the flight's going on our side. And then when I got to the next, well, one log was on our side, then I got to the next one. It's completely full. This is weird. Maybe the Black Prince was moored on the lock landing. But then I saw there was someone up at the next log. I was like, oh god.
Ahead of us.
We're
I
stuck
don't know.
right
I don't know where they came from though, because there's
No.
nowhere to moor.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they came past really early this morning, or they moored on a lock landing, there was nowhere else to moor
Don't
really.
know.
But yeah, they moored up. Well, then we didn't meet any boats. Then we saw an ABC come through a really tight railway bridge.
Yeah, we had 2 bridges. One bridge and then they were in the other next bridge. But lucky I beat the horn, and they actually beat back,
Yeah.
which is good. But I had
And,
to reverse for them to come through.
Then we got to the basin there, and no one was on the water point, which was good, and filled up on water, had some lunch. The other boat there in front of us is moored up, so that was alright. Still see this next lock is against us still though. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Once we get through this lock underneath the M5, we are safe off rivers for the rest of the year.
Yeah, then we've got about a week before Luke and Libby and George and Eden
Yeah,
come
so we
on.
can kill some
for a
time.
little cruise.
Annoyingly.
George should be going on his walks probably.
Editing. I don't have any storage to do video vlogs anyway, do I?
He's run out of storage and everything. Full up, George.
Yeah. Anyway, onwards to Worcester and Birmingham.
Well, you'll notice that the lock's actually narrow now instead of wide. Well, this is because this is a different canal. This is the Droitwich Junction Canal, built at a much later date. About 80 years later, in 1854, one of the last canals to be built in the country. Which is ironic because the Droitwich Barge Canal was one of the first in 1771. As you can see by the clearance chart on the wall there, the height of the tunnel is very variable, depending on the level of the River Solwap. This is why we had to get through as quick as possible, and thank God we did, because a few days later, this river was on red. You see, when we hit the locks, the first bout of rain came in. The start of quite a big low pressure, and the start of lots of rain. We then headed up the last flight up to the Worcester and Birmingham Canal. This actually has working pounds still. Most of the lock flights on the canal system used to have pounds. To fill the lock, the first thing we do is open the side pound paddle, and this allows water to come in from the side pound, fill the lock halfway, and this water would have been saved from the previous boat who used the lock, as if they went down they would have put half the water in the side pound, storing it for later. Now we're using it. Very clever old method of saving water. Once the lock is filled halfway with the side pounds, you then do the ground paddles and fill the rest of the lock up with the water in between the pounds of the locks. We then reached the Worcester and Birmingham Canal, and we wanted to head down towards Worcester, which is the hardest thing to do at this junction because it's a right hand turn and does take quite a bit of manoeuvring in a 70-foot boat, as there really is not much wiggle room at all, especially in the fact that boats can moor opposite, but thankfully there weren't any there today. Weird, very weird to see a wide beam on a narrow beam canal. Well, this canal was almost a wide canal. There were so many locks entirely big that there wasn't going to be enough water to make the locks wide beam, so they had to make them into narrow locks. But the bridges and tunnels were still built wide, so this boat, which they've been trying to sell for ages I believe, can actually go up and down this section. I wouldn't want to meet it.
It's boiling in my leather jacket. new. Back on Monday. Knew it. Further on.
Nice to see that CRT have finally repaired this landslide and fixed the towpath. But wait. Oh, not again. Why is it every time we go in this tunnel we see a bloody boat? It's a nightmare passing another boat in a tunnel. Now, as I said, the tunnels and bridges were built wide for white beams.
Redone the thing, haven't they?
Yeah, we done it all, Josh.
We're going to moor here at Holdingley, but firstly we have to turn around, because we don't really want to head down to Worcester and back on the 7 now, do we? And end up going in a big bloody circle. There's a winding hole just here, so we winded, turned around, and came back to Oddingley.
Lovely cruise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a little bit of rain.
Oh,
Just a little bit.
yeah, we got. It's weird. It's so unpredictable today. 1 minute you got sunshine, next minute you got rain. So we got a bit.
Mum never heard of
Right.
the shower. I
Shower.
just already spoiled what I was going to say. So tired. I already said it before anyway. Mum's never heard of the weather pattern of showers.
I've never heard of showers before.
But yeah, it's looking a bit dark at the moment. But it turned out alright in the end. But we had most of the rain at the lock, which was annoying because it was too hot to wear a coat. But it's going to be getting colder. It's going to be getting wetter. So tonight I think we could have, like I say,
Looking at the sky, it looks a bit.
It's coming.
It's
It's
a
coming
bit
for
black
us.
all over.
Yeah, so we cruised all the way down to Tiverton almost. Like winded at the last winding hole, although we got wedged across the canal, which is where Mum did her first wind, and it didn't go very well last time.
Last time, it's funny because Josh was over on the towpath and I was stuck over the other side.
Yeah, and we had boats
Yeah.
going past, but
Well,
we had
we
no
might-
boats this time.
Yeah, we managed to do it all right in the end.
But yeah, it's not where we wanted them all. We wanted them all the way back down there at a little, I can't remember the name of it. But we had to come in that extra a couple of miles.
We've done it, but we've done it before. We've moored there before. The trouble is, it was April and now it's too overgrown.
Yeah, but
Isn't it
I mean
where
the
we
spot
went?
before that.
Oh yeah.
So this is our fourth choice.
But it is beautiful here. But you have got the train. Oh, there's one coming now.
Yeah, the level crossing has just dropped.
Oh,
It's
no,
so
they're not gonna
quiet
be the
here.
beep beep, are they? It might be the beep beep, guys.
It's so quiet down here, but
Yeah.
every so often you have a train.
Hopefully it won't go. I'm not worried about the trains. I've
Yeah.
got nothing against trains, but I got something against trains at night.
So
They keep me awake.
what we're doing here is we've come down the Worcester and Birmingham because there's no locks on this section, which is very rare for this canal. For about 4 miles. So we're taking Luke, Libby, George and
Eden.
Eden on the boat for the second time.
But yeah, the first time George was about
Little baby. Vlog 17
just
is it? Or
over, I
vlog-
think. Well, he was
Oh, it was
born
long ago.
2000 September 2019. That was December 20. So he was just over a year then, and that's it. Then they did come to us when we were at Hungerford, but they didn't come for a cruise.
No, so we're going to finally
So-
take them on another cruise. Only an hour and 10 minutes away here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
were 40 minutes on the Gloucester and Sharpness, but it's
We just had to get off the 7. I have to explain that to Luke, but we had to get off the 7 because it's.
I'm not going to vlog it because of
Vlog.
privacy reasons.
Yeah.
Luke and Libby don't want George and
That's
Eden
why
to
you
be on
don't.
there, but
Yeah, that's
that's
why.
fair enough. That's their choice.
Yeah, that's why on Facebook and things you don't see much of George and Eden. You know, and I love all my grandchildren all the same. You see plenty of Noah. But Amy doesn't mind me putting photos or anything on about with Noah, so yeah, well, so I respect Luke and Libby, and I've said that I won't put
Yeah,
anything on.
But you probably won't see us until we go down to Ilfracombe again.
Yeah, and we'll see Noah then.
Yeah.
He's
Back down to
changing.
Ilfracombe.
He is really changing. He was 5 months, 5 months old a couple of days ago. It just seems like yesterday when he was like 4 weeks early, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bless him.
Anyway, yeah. Nice spot here.
Yeah.
A bit close to the bridge, but it is a wide beam
Yeah,
bridge.
it's a wide, so we should
Yeah.
be
There's
okay.
just loads of there's 3 moored boats down there, so we couldn't
Yeah,
get any more
can't get
room. Yeah.
So
And we need parking on that bridge there.
hope you enjoyed it.
So yeah, we're going to cruise to Ashton or Ashwood?
Ashwood.
Ashwood Locks. And then we're going to turn around, wind there, which is about where the junction is for the Droitwich. We'll turn a little bit further than that. We'll turn there, come back here, turn around, more here, and then that'll be the cruise. And then when we get back, which will be not next Thursday, the Thursday after, we'll be cruising to Tidy Big.
Yeah. Oh,
Not up it, but to it.
I don't mind. I prefer that to Hatton. I don't like Hatton at all, do I?
Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
See you later.